What is up everyone, we're back again with another Horror Revisited episode, and it's going to be for the film Train to Busan, and this is directed by Sang Ho Yeon, starring Yu Gong and Yoo Mi-young. That was very hard to memorise those names. Now, like I said, this is a Horror Revisited episode, and sometimes in these videos I like to delve really deep and talk spoilers, but here I won't. I'll try and keep it as spoiler free as possible because I realise this is a horror movie that not everyone has seen or isn't as popular as something as like Nightmare on Elm Street, let's say. Now, this tells the story of a zombie outbreak which happens just as a train departs the station headed for Busan. When the outbreak hits the train, survival becomes the #1 priority until it reaches its destination. Now, I had heard quite a bit about this movie. Certain friends were recommending it to me and saying it's absolutely amazing. And with the second one coming out, I finally decided to watch it. Why not? Now, this can be a bad thing going into movies with high expectations because you always leave disappointed. However, this was not the case for Train to Busan because this movie is fucking awesome. Honestly, this is one of the best and most creative zombie films I have seen in years. The movie felt like it was moving as fast as this train was, and when the characters finally stopped for a breather, I found myself trying to catch my breath as well. I'm not even joking. When they found themselves in certain situations, I was watching a film like this. Until they finally got past that obstacle. There's some horrible situations here too that felt very claustrophobic and pushed the characters into certain corners, and I just thought, how the hell are they going to get out of this? And it uses the environments to its limits. And speaking of environments, I think the train is used to its full potential here because there's certain times where characters have to climb over the overhead baggage areas, and when the train goes through tunnels, zombies are actually blinded, they can't actually see. So that brings a whole new dynamic to how these characters get past these hordes of zombies, and it doesn't just have to be mashing them all up into bits all the time. Now, the zombies in Train to Busan are absolutely fantastic as well. Not just the way they looked, but the way they acted as well. They are absolute death machines. If these zombies get a hold of you, that is it. You're dead, basically. Especially if they're attacking in hordes, because these are some of the most dangerous zombies I've ever seen on screen in my life. And you usually get the slow walking type and the very fast running type. And they went with this side of things, which I'm glad they did, because it just fits the whole pace and vibe of the movie. There's some incredible shots here as well. For example, when the train is departing the station, the young girl on the train looks out and sees a zombie just jump on someone, but she doesn't quite know what she's seeing, what she's imagining it. It's a split second of perfect build-up of what is about to happen. It's just a very well directed film. When it finally does get into the swing of things, there are also some amazing action shots and lots of death scenes. The zombies just get mashed into pieces constantly. There's, human characters getting chased by hordes all over the place of them. And it just never lets up. It never stops, but it's all done with creative imagination and excellent direction, like I said. One thing about zombie films as well is I feel like it has to have good characters, because zombies are zombies. I know there's a lot of them on screen and the most dangerous thing in it, but they're all the same, and it feels a little bit stale if you're just constantly watching the same thing over and over. So having good characters is a big plus for me. Example, The Walking Dead. Now, they're all trying to survive this big zombie outbreak in that show, but it's the characters that keep that show going and make it feel fresh all the time, whether it's villains or characters that you look up to. And I think Train to Busan takes a big leaf out of that book, because the characters here are one of the biggest positives of this film. For example, you got this guy who's into baseball and he's got the whole baseball kit on, and he uses a bat to swing at the zombies, which is kind of, just a play on things, isn't it? But you got the big tough guy as well, who, I'll look after everyone, I'm the big tough guy, and he's not afraid to take a load of zombies on his own. And you got the sly old guy who will just put anyone in harm's way to save himself. All he cares about is his own survival. So these characters aren't throwaway. They all have a little bit of a meaning and a little bit of a backstory there. And it was just one of the best things about the film. Even if some of them become zombie food, they aren't just throwaway. Talking of the human element of things, this does come into play about midway through the film. and just makes you question humanity as a whole when you see these characters have a discussion. Why are some more inconsiderate than others? What would you do in this situation? It's just things like this that stick together and just conjure up a very, very clever film. Now, I know this might sound kind of dumb, but it's just little things as well that I liked about this film. The fact that it takes place in the whole daylight, because if a zombie outbreak happened, it wouldn't just happen at night because it wants to be all horror and stuff. The fact that it happened at daytime just added a little bit more to me, and the main protagonist has an office suit on because he's just finished work. I mean, a zombie outbreak, if it ever happened, which I know it won't, wouldn't wait for anyone. It just happened, wouldn't it? So it's just things like that that I just, I noticed, and I think the filmmakers intentionally meant to do that. Talking to the main protagonist, unfortunately for me, he was the biggest negative with this film. Now, I know I said all the other characters are put to good use, and they are. But for him, it's like they forgot about him. He's just kind of dull, and I couldn't take to him at all. It's a shame, really, because I would have found hardly anything bad to say about this movie if it weren't for that. It's kind of just like a pawn, and all the good stuff is around him, and everywhere he goes, the good stuff just stays around him, really. He's not part of the good stuff, if you get him. Bit of a shame, really. Despite this, though, that was only the real big negative with this film. This was such an exhilarating ride, all the way to its brilliant climax, and honestly, this is one of the best zombie films I have seen in ages, like I said, but to be honest, it's probably one of the best zombie films of all time. I'm just going to go ahead and make this movie now. I'm going to give Train to Busan a 9 out of 10. I'm really, really looking forward to checking out the sequel, Peninsula, but I can see myself going back to this movie quite a few times, to be honest. Okay, at the end of these reviews, I always like to leave a little fun fact. Now, Shaun of the Dead director, Edgar Wright, who of course made that zombie movie himself, tweeted to his followers recommending this one by saying it's the best zombie movie I've seen in forever. So there you go. Okay guys, I hope you all enjoyed this Horror Revisited episode. If you want more Horror Revisited episodes, the link will be down below. If you want to comment about Train to Busan or any other zombie movies, let me know. If there are any movies you want me to review, let me know down below. I will reply to every single one of you, I promise. Take it all easy guys, and I'll see you all next video.